Okay, we have one more block to do before of the 8. I've shown you the other 7, how to do the other 7. So let's do number 8 before we start putting this all together. This is the pineapple block number 2. And again, it's an 8-inch block. I've got all my pieces cut. And they really are in order. Kind of look haphazard, but they really are in order. I'm only using 2 fabrics for this one. We're going to try something a little different. So we're going to take fabric piece number 1, and I believe it's like 1 3/4 inch square. And we're going to set the foundation on top. When it's like this, we want to be able to read the printing on the foundation. So this is what we call the right side of the foundation, looking through to the wrong side of your fabrics. This is a side we do all our work on. We sew on this side and we trim on this side. So I've set it so I've got about 1/4 inch all the way around space number 1. That's the square in the middle. And I put a pin down here because the first piece I'm going to add is number 2, and it's up here at the top. So we'll flip this over and take fabric piece number 2 and put right sides together, the edges even. And I'm going to put another little pin here. I have a different pin thing, and I'm not sure I like it. Okay. So that's in place. Now we're going to flip it over. And we're going to stitch on that line between space 1 and space 2. I like to usually put my needle down first to make sure. Hi, Paige. To make sure I get my needle right on the line. You start where the line starts and you end where the line ends. You don't back stitch because you're going to be having other seams crossing over this seam to hold everything in place as we go. And then when we get to the very outside edges, we will run the stitches all the way out. Take my pins out. Step number 1 is to stitch. Step number 2. Yeah, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Okay, so we press that nice and flat. This first piece is sized so you don't have to do any trimming to add the first 4 pieces. So there's piece number 3, right sides together. We're going to flip it over. And stitch right on that line. And then we're going to, oops, well, I haven't done that in a long time. I don't know why that happened. If this should happen to you, I have not had this happen in probably 2 or 3 years. For some reason, my iron, oh, it did get turned up. See, I got to pay attention. I put too hot of an iron to this, and it just came on. If that should happen to you, all you have to do is send me a message, send me an email message, tell me what block it is, what size it is, and your mailing address, and I will send you a replacement, no charge. It occasionally happens. Like I say, this is the first time it's happened to me in a couple of years. And now I'm looking for my other foundation. Here we go. I'm going to take these off. And I forgot to check my iron. I was ironing fabrics to get ready to cut, and I turned the iron way up. That's what I get for not paying attention. And the other thing you can do is if there's always blank spots on the foundation, you could trace over one of the blocks, cut away the melted part, and substitute with your hand-drawn one. It's really not difficult to do. But if you feel better having a pristine one, we'll take care of it for you. I always tell in my seminars, I say, yes, it is possible to melt the foundation. It is a non-woven. We pre-shrink it at 400 degrees for at least 30 seconds. So we know it can take that heat. But I had a gentleman, an iron salesman, tell me that when an iron first turns on, it'll have hot spots like maybe even up to 600 degrees. So see, most of this is okay. I would just cut away like across the top, trace this onto a piece of blank foundation and attach it, piece of cake. But since I have extras, we'll just throw this one away and we'll start over. Well, that was embarrassing. Okay, fabric piece number 1 in the middle. And I just centered it so that I won't have to trim when I add when I add piece number 2, 3, 4, and 5. I won't have to trim for any of those. So now we'll put fabric piece number 2 down. So anyway, when your iron first comes on, you want to swipe it on your ironing mat to make sure that the heat is evenly distributed over the plate of the iron. And usually, I recommend that you take a little piece of extra foundation fabric and make sure that your iron's not going to melt it, and you'll find the right temperature. I should only use one iron for the foundations and use another iron when I'm doing when I'm pressing other fabrics. Okay, now we'll add piece number 3 over here. See, I'm going to have to wind another bobbin. Hi, Denise. Well, other than melting a foundation on my live, my Tuesday's going pretty well. How about yours? And if any of you are interested in making the a Lone Star on our product. I taught a class on Saturday, did a workshop, and I felt when I left that I had not done my best job of teaching. Some got it right off, figured it out, and some struggled, and that always makes me feel really bad. So I came home and I did a video, a 2-part video on how to make the Lone Star block, and this was just a small Lone Star that we did, but the technique is exactly the same whether you're doing, we have, 3 sizes of Lone Star right now, and it doesn't really matter. It's the same technique. So, and then the second part is how to do the set-in seams to add your outer parts, how to put the star together, and then how to do the seams for the corners and the setting triangles. So if you're interested, I have posted those here on YouTube, and take a look. I hope I let them know I posted those, so I'm hoping that they can sit down and watch the video and get a better understanding and feel a little better about it. It was a full workshop, and fortunately everybody had cut their fabrics ahead of time. So most of the students everybody got at least one full diamond done, and quite a few were on their second. And then we also did one strip of the migrating geese border, and that one was, that block's much easier. They all got that one right off. So on this one, now what I do is, this is the pineapple block, so I just trim all 4 sides for the round. Saves a lot of time. Oh, thanks, Denise. I felt like sometimes in a class, especially a large class like that, you try to remember to explain all the details of why we're doing each step, and invariably you get interrupted or somebody asks a question, and then and they tend to want, those who get it tend to want to go on ahead and do, proceed further, and then that gets their neighbors confused if they're not catching it, and you get frustrated. I was in a class like that once, and I was so lost. I wasn't keeping up, and it was very frustrating, so I get it. And when I teach a class, I try very, very hard to follow each student, make sure that they're getting the steps, that they understand them. And sometimes you just miss the mark a little bit. And I hate that. I want everybody to be as enthused with this as I am. Okay. This is going to be interesting. I've never done a pineapple with just, I don't think, with just 2 fabrics. And this line of fabric is just, the colors are just awesome. I have to show you. I had it up on the design wall. And I love it. I keep forgetting I put my... And then if you understand what you're doing, you can put that piece there and this piece here. And then I put a pin right in the middle to hold them both in place away from where I'm stitching. Yeah, you can order just packages of just the blocks, and they do come with cutting instructions and a one-page basic foundation piecing instruction page. That's it. You use them in your own design or whatever, but yes. So I sew on the one side, and then I just lift the presser foot and bring it over and stitch the other side. Speeds things up. You guys know I hate all my threads hanging around. So I got the Hexie quilt that I had up on the design wall. I got that all put together. Well, it's not done, but what I had done, I got put together and figured out how many more blocks I need. It's going to be the inside with no borders is going to be 72 by 90 something. So it will be, by the time I add borders, it'll be perfect for a queen size. I think, so here again, I'm going to trim for the whole round for pieces 10, 11, 12, and 13. None of them, as I add like 10 and 11, it won't impede on 12 and 13, so you can trim for the whole round at one time. Not too many blocks can we do this on. Mostly it's the pineapple blocks. Log cabins you can't because you're building, you're working in a round, and you've got to put like piece number 6 on before you can do piece number 7, and that means you'll have to trim part of number 6. So that doesn't work on this. But here again, I'm going to do piece number 10, put right sides together, and then I'm going to take piece number 11 and put it down here at the bottom. And I put a pin in each one of them to hold them in place. And then turn it over and stitch on the line. And then make sure my fabrics all stay flat. I hope these colors are gonna not just all blend together. Oh, I think they'll show up fine. And you know, doing just the two colors, cutting the fabrics went super fast. I just cut several strips 1.25 inches wide and opened them up, stacked 4 high, and started with the longest length I needed. I think it was 7.25 inches, and cut it 7.25, cut it 6, cut it 4 and something, 4.25, something like that, and 3.5, and boom, it was all done and already stacked in order for me. And then the points are all, you just cut 5 squares. I forget what size. And I just stacked those 5 squares up and cut them twice diagonally, and there's all my points. So it was cut, had to cut 1 square for the first round and the center square, and all the pieces were cut that fast. Now, if you were doing like 4 or 5 different fabrics, you'd have to cut them a little different. I mean, you still end up with all the same sizes, but you couldn't do it quite the same way. And then, oh yeah, I think there's enough contrast there. So now we'll cut for the next round. We'll cut all 4 corners. So obviously it doesn't matter what order you do them in. That's what happens. See how I laid that out? I stitched just slightly past the end of the line. Oh, I have to show you. I got new grippy straight edges. This light doesn't show this, but this is a gorgeous turquoise. This block finishes sewn into the quilt at 8 inches. I do have it 6 inch, 8 inch. I am not positive if I have the number 2. I think I have it in a 9 inch and a 12 inch. We have a regular pineapple block in all those sizes, plus I know we have a bunch. Okay, now on this round, guys, we really get to save. We're going to do all 4 corners. And I just, by centering them, I kind of make sure that this point kind of makes a square compared to the center. That makes sense. And then I come back and I'll put a pin in each one. Make sure that's right. Now, I've been having trouble finding good sharp pins. They must have a coating on them or something, because the more I use them, the easier they go in the fabric. But when I first start out. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over, and we're just going to start with one of these corner pieces. And then just turn it, put the foot back down. Turn it, come over to this one. And over to the fourth one. And then just grab those loops in between. Flip it over and take out my pins. Okay, and then we're going to bring it over here and we're going to press it. And I'll set all those seams first and then just open them up. Turn it and open it up. And this is so much fun when you open it up and you see your beautiful points. And didn't even fuss over them. But look at that, they're all great. Okay, so now we're going to trim for the next round. We can't do all 4 of the straight pieces because they do overlap. But we can do 2 and 2, which still saves some time. We'll trim for the whole round at one time. So even though there's 41 pieces in this, it does go pretty fast. And of course, I believe our bigger blocks have the same number of pieces. They're just slightly wider, the logs are. So now we'll flip it over and we'll grab 2. See, that's why I can't put the pieces down the side, but I can put this piece here. And over here. Well, there we go. Okay. And I think I am going to, let me see if I've got any bobbins already wound. I think I'm getting down, I'm trying to use up some of these off colors. We'll use this lavender goes. Yeah, I don't think I would have made that one. I didn't realize. I usually have 6 or 8 bobbins wound at a time. Off my game a little here. Okay, flip this over and let's stitch. And then we'll stitch the other side. At some point, I figure the amount of thread between when I turn it, instead of just keeping the thread hooked, I just take it off and turn it and start again. You guys that have the machines with the automatic cutters, can you adjust? Does anybody know? Can you adjust how much thread is left when you cut, or is it a set amount? I do not know. I have, what, two electronic machines, but neither one have the cutter attached, or the cutter capabilities, so I don't know. I think that's got enough contrast. Oh, well, too late now. We're going with it. Okay, we'll put these 2 opposite ones on. And then I think I'd like to show you, I started putting it together, the quilt top, the center. I only have a couple more blocks. I think I have 2 more New York Beauties and a Dutchman's Puzzle. And 1 more of these to do, and I'll have all the blocks done. I have to tell you that I was surprised at how fast these all went. Okay, and then we're going to trim, we'll trim the corners again for that round. But I'm going to set this aside for right now because I really want to show you about putting this whole thing together. I've sewn the cornerstones and the sashing pieces for across the top of this. And then I've sewn the sashing block, sashing block, sashing block, sashing and block. And then, whoops. I mean, it goes together just like a traditional quilt. Took these off the board in order, so. So then I'll go like that and like this. And then I have the next row, I have my blocks laid out the way I want them. So I am going to sew these together. I believe I need 2 more sashing pieces. I have all my sashing pieces cut, all my cornerstone pieces cut. So now what I usually do, and I know everybody, you have your own way of doing this, but I stack these up in order, and I go from left to right. So when I stack them up, I go from right to left, and then take them to the machine, and now I'm going to sew. This one goes here, and I always sew with the foundation on top, because if there's points to that need to be matched, or you know, that like this one has the point that comes all the way out to the seam, I want to make sure I don't cut that point off. And remember, after we cover the block, we trim it down to 1/4 inch from that solid line. So this should be your 1/4 inch seam. And now you can join these any way you want, of course. Just kind of want to, and I probably take way more time doing this than is necessary. I don't know what it is. I just like to keep it all real neat as I go. Now we put a sashing strip on this side, flip it over, so I'm sewing with the foundation on top. And yes, you can back stitch if you want, just like you would normally. At this point, the only thing that's not normal is sewing on the foundation side on the line, but otherwise it all goes together just like any other traditional pieced quilt. And then you're just going to forget that your foundation is in here. Except these are bias edges and they're not stretching. It doesn't add any weight or bulk to your quilt, but it sure makes it easier to put it all together because everything keeps its size and its shape. And then I'm going to set those stitches and open those. See, look at both sides, perfect points. Okay, so that's the way it's going to go. This is my left edge. Now this, I did this pineapple block yesterday, kind of wild, but I like it. Put it face down, edges even, and away we go. Make sure edges are even and my ends meet. I don't know about you guys, but I like to kind of put the quilt together as I go. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks to put up there on the wall. But as I complete each row, I like to sew it together and sew it to the row above, because then when I'm done, when I'm done with that last row, it's all put together. Match the ends, match the edges. Perfect. And this one's next. Flip it over so my foundation's on top, because I do have points that come out to the edge on this block. And plus then I don't have to worry about moving my needle for the 1/4-inch seam, because this foot is not a 1/4-inch foot. Flip it over. I have this Dutchman's puzzle. This is all these are finished at 8 inches, but I also have it in a 12-inch size. And I'll have to dig it out and show you guys. I did it in, what do you call a plaid? Woven. I know I got it from Moda, the woven plaids. And all the geese are in a woven plaid. And very masculine looking, which was what my plan was for it. And it was a real fun one to do. Of course, I say that about all of them. They're all fun. Okay. Press this open. Look at how perfect those points are. pull up this. Okay, next one, churn dash block. And when I laid this out, what was I going to say? When I laid this out, oh, I didn't trim that very well, did I? I did, since there's 3 blocks of each of 8 designs, and this quilt is 4 inches, is 4 blocks by 6 blocks. I did in 2 rows, I did 1 each of the 8 blocks. So then I just kind of did that for the whole thing, so that it spreads your blocks out so you don't end up with the same block right next to itself. And oh, I don't sell my quilts. Sorry. I'm going to start selling some of them because I have so many. But I do need duplicates because if Laura and I happen to be doing quilt shows that are close in time, she needs one and I need one. And then I also loan them out to guilds when I'm going to be doing a workshop. I will loan them a sample of whatever it is that the project we're going to be doing. Okay, so I have the first row of sashing done, the first row of blocks, the second row of sashing, and the second row of blocks. I'm going to sew all these together because then I can put them up on the design wall and they're done, ready for the next section to be added. So we'll just grab the top one. And this one's going to require some pinning. And I have pressed, when I do the blocks and the sashing, I press the seam allowance into the sashing. So like that. So when I make the strip of sashing and cornerstones, I press the seams out. So they'll nest together when I attach one to the other. So we will start here. Just push those two seams together. And I should get my clips out. And then down here. And I pin it on the side. That's going to go against the way I'm feeding it. See, those just nest together. And when I'm coming up to sew on across these seams, I use my finger to make sure, you can feel that they're nested tight. It is a gorgeous day here. I don't know where you guys all are, but we're in Central Coast, California. And it is absolutely beautiful. There's a few little clouds scattered around, but nothing threatening. Oh, and my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. My greenhouse, the roof is on. The waterproof flooring has a couple coats have been applied. And I think this afternoon I am going to start moving I don't know what you call them, but they're my actual working, where I will be doing my seedlings and bringing in some pots with some plants for some greenery, getting ready to actually use it. And I'm excited. Sewing and gardening are, well, after my grandsons, sewing and gardening are my two favorite things. I believe when we go to quilt shows, we'll be displaying or have a rack or whatever for the quilts that will be on sale and or for sale. And I will be taking pictures and post them on the website as well. And I pinned this on the wrong side, but we can still make it work. I can still pull the pins out as I go. But I do want to sew on this side. Because there are points that we want to make sure we hit properly in my machine. Does anybody else have a Jazz 2 and have a problem with their my needle. Okay, now when I get to this seam here, I want to make sure that they're nested nice and smooth. And I just ran out of bobbin thread again. This has been a rather unorganized day. We have all colors of thread in this quilt. Get this off. Ouch. Don't stab yourself. Okay, and make sure those are nested together. Feels good. New York Beauty block. So next week, or later this week, Thursday, I get so confused my days. We're gonna do a real quick one day we're gonna do the Heart in the Cabin. Since the quilt only has, it's all made of, I forget how many, of the same block. We'll just make one block, and we'll do a bit of the braid border to show you how you keep that when you do your braid border, how it, how you join the pieces to keep a continuous strip. And then hopefully we'll get it put together. And then after that, I think we have a new project. And I will show you a sample on Thursday. It's a modern quilt. And between now and Thursday, I hope to have this, at least the inner part, all put together. But I'll share the progress with you, even though we'll be working on other projects. That's interesting. I started the row with a lavender bobbin and ended with a black one. And I did sew over a couple of pins. But we're good. Okay, now press this. Good. Didn't cut off any points. So far, so good. This cord. Okay, I see one cornerstone that I probably need to fix. Just like that. Okay, so there we have the first set done. And usually what I do is the next row, I will sew the sashing to the top of it. Those colors are just gorgeous. And yes, I have the other one in the background. Different line of fabric that is no longer available. And all the kits have been sold. So then I have to decide on this one if we're going to sell it or keep it for me. We'll decide. I'll let you know. I will let you know on here before we post it on the website or let you know when we'll post it. I also have this one done in the first one we did was in all shades of browns and a little bit of a gray that was from a line of fabric. I do not remember, but it's beautiful also. It's all neutrals, so I'll bring that one out and post it so I can show all three of these. But anyway, this one is just, I think this one's going to be every bit as beautiful, if not more so. I think that's probably... Sandy, those were posted. I think they say Modern Sampler on them. I'll have to look. I'll have Laura look and send you the link. I know they're on there, but maybe down a ways. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I think we've pretty much covered this. I've got the small blocks. I've got some of those made. The ones for the middle border there. What I did was I waited. The reason I didn't go ahead and cut them all was I waited until I got all my blocks cut so I knew what fabric was left to use in those blocks. And so I will get busy cutting all those today. I will get them all cut so I can just sit here and chain piece them all. I was just looking at this one over here. I see a couple blocks I did with just two colors, but not the one I worked on today. This one right here, the pineapple. That's varied. Where's the third one? No, where's the third pineapple? Da-da-da-da. 1, 2, 3. That one. That one right there. But, well, this one, that one, the fox and geese is almost always done in just two colors. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it for today. Short day. My quilt jack. Okay, I'll look and see, and it's in there somewhere. And if it's not, I will make sure it gets posted on there. I think I have it set to automatically download. It does it like in 24 hours, so it's there someplace. I'll find it, and one of us will send you the link. And I'm going to show you this one. Hopefully it's put together. Not the whole thing, but the center part with all 24 blocks I'll have put together on Thursday and show you that. And may have a couple little surprises for you. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to cut off early today. And I don't want to bore you with making the same thing over and over again. So we'll see you on Thursday. Until then, I hope you're sewing something fun. And we'll see you on Thursday around noon Pacific time. If you get a chance, I think Laura's doing hers in the morning. 10 to noon Eastern time, so 7 till 9 on the West Coast. And yeah, that's about it. Anyway, we'll see you on Thursday. Thanks.